Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
Back at you guys, man. The brothers of the hopeful elect on this lovely Tuesday. I hope you guys' week is going pretty decent. If not, man, it's still early, and you can do everything in your power to change the trajectory of it. We know at the end of the day, man, it's the Most High's will. Nonetheless, man, bringing you guys another video, another lesson for today. The title of this video or this lesson today will be Israel is a broken elephant. Israel is a broken elephant. First and foremost, we want to give all honor and glory to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We do so by way of his only begotten Son, who was an instrument of salvation for the nation. May he lead and guide us during this lesson and let the edification go forth. Let it be clear and let you guys be able to gain something from it. I'm going to go ahead and play the shofar blowing. So if you guys can hear it and listen to it, man, we're going to usher this video in. Con man, I was about to call you brother Baruch, man, brother Obadiah. Can you share the screen for me? Let me see if I can pull this up. There we go. Isaiah 1 and 3. We're gonna start it off with a precept. I got two videos to go into. One at the beginning of the lesson, one at the end. But we'll start off with this precept, Isaiah 1 and 3.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 1 and verse 3. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib, but Israel does not know, my people does not consider.
Come on, man. Right. I titled this video Israel is a broken elephant. Because it signifies something. I'm not talking about like a broken clock or anything like that, right? I'm not talking about like an elephant that has a broken leg or a broken trunk or anything like that. When I say broken, I'm talking about in respects or in the same way one would talk about breaking a horse, right? Um, Domesticating it, right? Or training it, humbling it down, right? Israel is a broken elephant. Why did I choose the word elephant? Right, right here in Isaiah 1 and 3, it says, ox to know of his owner, the ass is master crib, but Israel does not know. My people don't even consider. We don't consider that we are the children of God. We don't consider how much power we have when we're with God. What does the word Israel mean? Right? I think it's Prince of the power.
Yeah.
Prince of the power. We don't understand how much power we hold, right? Same way a broken elephant doesn't, right? Same way a broken elephant doesn't. What do I mean by that? A broken elephant or a domesticated elephant, we see these all the time, whether it be through the streets of India and they use them as cars, whether we see them in circuses, right? And you got somebody with a whip and he tapping a stool, and the elephant kind of just get up on the stool and he put all four of his big legs on this small behind stool, right? Um, or whether they got him and they tamed him for war, right? And I chose the elephant because elephant is probably one of the most powerful animals that we have on the planet. But for them to be able to, for a little man or a little woman to domesticate this big beast to do whatever they say, it's got to be some one outside of the truth would say that, man, it's got to be witchcraft. Well, I don't know what kind of black magic this is. How they can get this big animal to submit to something so small. But that is the same way Israel has been in this captivity. That is the same way Israel has been from the beginning of the captivity until even right now. We have been a strong elephant, unawares of our power, unaware that we can step on our captive's neck. I'm talking about spiritually and physically. We've been unaware of these things, right? And we're just going to dive a little bit into what that means, right? Won't be before you guys long. Told the brothers 30 minutes max, right? Yeah, I ain't gonna swear my life on that, but hey, 30 minutes max is what we aiming for. So I'm gonna share my first video. Hopefully you guys can hear this. Hopefully you guys can hear this. I know a lot of times it'd be tricky when I be trying to share through the window tab, but hopefully you guys can hear this. If not, I might have to troubleshoot. Let me know. See that? Yeah. Now we're gonna have to share it. I'm gonna have to share it through my through another tab. One sec.
How are we able to hear the trumpet blowing?
He
I
playing
was
his phone.
playing it off of a device. I was playing it off a device. Which one do I want? Which one do I want? Right here, this one. Go ahead and share that one for me in the lobby.
Fair use.
Fair use, fair use. So what I want to do with this one, man, I want to play it all the way through first, and then the second time we play it through, I'm going to be stopping it as we get precepts, right? We'll be stopping it as we get precepts. Do I want to do that though? Y'all brothers got y'all swords on y'all, whether it be physical swords or whatever.
Yes, sir.
It's gonna help me eliminate going back and forth, you know, from video to precept, if you understand what I'm saying. So you kind of be quick on the sword, even if you got to pull it up in Google, right? But here we go. I'm gonna play this all the way through first, and then we'll backtrack.
Domesticate elephants. Let me explain. First, a pit is dug large enough for the elephant to fall into, and then the elephant is lured to the pit. In India, a cruel method is used to domesticate elephants. Let me explain. First, a pit is dug large enough for the elephant to fall into, and then the elephant is lured to the pit, which is covered with branches. After the elephant falls into the pit by stepping on the branches, the so-called training begins. The hunters wearing only black clothes start beating and abusing the elephant with sticks. After this shock, the hunters leave the pit and come back to the elephant, wearing completely white clothes this time, and they feed the shocked animal its favorite food and treat its wounds. The poor animal mistakes the white-clothed hunters for saviors, and does not realize that the black-clothed men who just beat him could be the same people. Unfortunately, the elephant is now domesticated. In India, a cruel...
Wow.
Come on, man. Right?
That's crazy.
And this is how they get them trained, man. This is beginning stages of how they get them trained. But I'm gonna show you, much like these elephants is much like Israel then and today. So we're gonna play it back. We're gonna pause it a few times, and we're gonna go through some precepts. First precept I got, I think it's on Brother Isaiah. If you could pull out Deuteronomy 28 and 48 for me, real quick. We're gonna read that before we start it again.
You said 28 and 48?
Yeah.
Let me pull it up. You want me to go ahead and read it when I do?
Yeah, you go ahead and pull it when you got it.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, you a little robotic, little staticky, but
So can y'all hear me?
yeah, it's a little staticky.
Might gotta leave and come back.
I'm just trying to see, because it sounds kind of staticky on my end.
Yeah, it sounds, I ain't gonna lie to you, something.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 48.
Bring it out.
Sound like it's getting worse.
Sound like he crumbling a chip bag. You might gotta leave and come back.
You said 28 in verse what?
28 and 48. Go ahead and read it when you got it.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness.
Right, man. There was another clip that I was gonna share, and it literally showed them after they captured the elephants, they put them on a regiment, right, where they take them down to the river, and they hand wash them while they chained up, and then they go through their meals, and it shows how they prepare their meals, right? Elephants don't wear clothes, but if they did, well, I will say this, man. I got a second video, and you see them deck them out in war apparel and stuff like that, right? So all of these stuff, man, is seen as this animal is being captured, right? But now it is provided by their captors, right? Let me see something. And so I don't know if I want to bring this point up right now or not.
Want me to finish reading the scripture?
If you want to, if there's more on that.
And in nakedness, and in want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
Right, and that's pretty much the theme, right? We're dependent on him for everything, and there's a yoke of iron around our neck. One thing I want to point out about the elephant in this manner is that it's held captive, and once you domesticate, especially if you start young, once you domesticate it as it's young, it forgets that it's an animal, right? That's supposed to be out in the wild, and so you become dependent on your captor, right? Not realizing you have what's in you that God created you to do, which is to go and provide for yourself, right? We become dependent on our captors, and that's not even just for food and money. That's for everything. You know what I'm saying? We feel like we handicapped. We feel they've taken our maturity away from us, right? They're taking our adulthood away from us because now we have become dependent on our captors, and to the point where a lot of our people let it be the situation or scenario, we feel entitled to what our captor gives us. You see what I'm saying? And the same thing for these elephants, right? They get to a point where they're dependent on their captors to feed them. They're dependent on their captors for everything. And it might get a little attitude when they miss a meal or something like that. But they're not even knowing that they're strong enough to break out of them chains, kill their oppressor, and do what they was meant to do, what God put them on this earth to do, which is to go and be hunters and gatherers of their own, right? They don't have to depend on somebody. It was already made for them to be able to provide for themselves, right? It's all about snapping out of the matrix. So we're gonna play this one more time. Next precept, whoever's next, can you pull up Jeremiah 5:26? We're gonna go to that next. Jeremiah 5:26 as I play this.
Cruel method is used to domesticate elephants. Let me explain. First, a pit is dug large enough for the elephant to fall into, and then the elephant is lured to the pit, which is covered with branches. After the elephant falls into the
right, you got Jeremiah 5:26. Anybody?
Is it Jeremiah 5:26?
Con.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 5, verse 26. For among my people are found wicked men. They lay wait as he that setteth snares. They set a trap, they catch men.
Right. Keep reading on that.
As a cage is full of birds, so are their houses full of deceit. Therefore they are become great and waxing rich.
Con, man, right? Just like our oppressors, right? They've laid open snares and traps just like this, right? That's the only way they can obtain us is if they lay these snares and they lay these traps, right? And then when they get us, it's all deceit from there, because even after they capture us, it still shouldn't be able to hold us to the point where they can break us down. And it's all deceptive, right? Deceptive trickery to get us to be submissive, right? And we're gonna see a little bit of that in this real quick. Next precept I got is gonna be 2 Corinthians 11 and 14, right? 2 Corinthians 11 and 14.
Pit by stepping on the branches, the so-called training begins. The hunters wearing only black clothes start beating and abusing the elephant with sticks.
Remember what I said, man. This is the deception, right? It's the trickery, the in and out. First they was in black, and then they're gonna be in white. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
That's all I'm gonna say. Like, notice how they wearing black and they beating the elephant, but then they put on all white to appear to the elephant like they're just holy. And that's just the reason why I say that, because I think it was Malcolm X that said something about how black is always looked at as bad and white is always looked at as good. Like, you got devil cake, you got angel cake. You got people say stay away from black cats because it's bad luck. When you playing pool, you gotta watch you stay away from the black ball. Don't try to hit the black ball. So it always deals with black is bad and white is good and pure. And I just thought about that. They even use that mind control on animals as well too.
Con man. And so that's that deceptive trickery too, man. You know what I'm saying? Pay attention to what they say right here, right? Watch this.
After this shock, the hunters leave the pit and come back to the elephant, wearing completely white clothes this time.
2 Corinthians 11 and 14. Who got that?
2 Corinthians 11 and 14. And it reads, "And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light."
Con, man, right? And so what happens is they put us in these snares and these traps deceptively, because the snares and traps that we run into, they might not be as obvious as this big pit in the ground. For us, it might be temptation, right? Whatever your temptation might be, whether it be sex, money, or drugs, or whatever, right? And they get us that way deceitfully. And then once they get us into that, right? At one, for instance, I put it like this: in the right after the whole Martin Luther King, Malcolm X era, there was a big cocaine era, right? Now, what this looks like is the government, they'll never admit these things, but the government, what they did is they dropped cocaine off in these hoods, right? What they did is same thing for this elephant, they put on that black, right? Put on that black, they dropped that cocaine off, got people hooked on it, got people selling it, right? And then after a while, they put on that white. They put on that white when they came and arrested you, and they said, but we can make a deal with you. You know what I'm saying? Be an FBI informant for me. Or better yet, I'll let you sell your coke. Just do X, Y, and Z for me, and I'll make you a rich man, right? That's one way, and that way might be a little exaggeration, but in multiple ways in our lives, man, whether that be a promotion at work, whether that be, whatever, that temptation may come in a snare or a trap, you know what I'm saying? But that's how they get you. At first, man, they entice you deceptively, and then they play the nice guy, right? And they're so good at doing it, right? Our oppressors are so good at doing it. You ever been in a meeting or they call you in and they about to lay you off or fire you? They do it so nice. You know what I'm saying? They do it so nice. But we know a lot of times it's nothing but wickedness in their hearts. Next precept I got that's going to be coming up here shortly is going to be Ecclesiastes 7 and 7. Ecclesiastes 7 and 7. Right? I'm gonna keep playing this.
And they feed the shocked animal its favorite food and treat its wounds. The poor
right. So keep in mind, let's stay on track here. It started off, they was dressed in black, they changed into black, and they start beating the animals, right? Then the next day they show up and they in all white, right? And they treating the elephant, the animal all good, giving it his favorite snacks, right? Rubbing it down, tending to its wounds, right? It's playing trickery. But what? Ecclesiastes 7:7.
Book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7:7. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart.
It's the same thing, man. At first, they was about to make the elephant go mad, but then that gift, when they come in with their favorite treats, man, it deceptively changed their mind and think, hey, these people might be all right. You know what I'm saying? And so that gift is destroying the elephant's mind. That's because that word heart means mind. This gift is destroying the elephant's mind. And many a times it's the same thing for us. We get little gifts here and there along the way, right? And it destroys our minds into making bad decisions, right? To being stagnant and complacent, right? To being subject and submissive, to at times when we're not supposed to be subject and submissive, right? Next precept I got is going to be Lamentations 4:17. Lamentations 4:17.
Poor animal mistakes the white-clothed hunters for saviors and does not realize that the black-clothed men who just beat him could be the same people. Unfortunately, the elephant is now domesticated.
Right? So I want to highlight a few things that it just said. It said that it mistaked these the people that was beating them before as saviors, right? Give me that in Lamentations chapter 4:17.
Who turned it?
It's the book of Lamentations, chapter 4, and verse 17. And it reads, as for us, our eyes as yet failed for our vain help. In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us.
Right, man. You know, we always look at that precept as us coming to our realization, like we're now realizing that this nation couldn't save us. But also, we got a lot of people that are still in the mindset of looking to these people to save them on a day-to-day basis, right? A lot of people that don't think their government would ever lie to them. You know what I'm saying? Just like these elephants, they mistake that the people that was beating them, they mistake them, the same people, to be their saviors, right? To look at them as heroes and nurturers, if you will, right? And that's how we have looked at our oppressors too, right? It all starts about that deceptive trickery of them snares and them traps, though, right? I got one more video. I don't know if I want to read these precepts before or after the video, right? I'll play this video, then we'll get the precepts, and then we'll be out of here, right? This is the second video. Oh, snap, I forgot I got to share my screen. Stop. Go ahead and share that one, Brother Obadiah. Gone. And I ain't going to stop this one. We're going to watch it all the way through. And then I got 3 precepts afterwards, right? I just want to point out a few things in it.
Ancient armies really get elephants drunk before battle? Yup, it actually happened. In some cases, war elephants were fed wine or fermented fruits to make them more aggressive and fearless during combat. A furious elephant charging through enemy lines was basically the tank of the ancient world. Strong, loud, terrifying, and now drunk. But here's the problem. Once they were out of control, there was no stopping them. Some trampled the enemy, and others turned around and crushed their own troops. So, was it a brilliant strategy or a drunken disaster? Follow Epoch Light for more weird, wild stories.
Come on, man. I lied. I'm going to play it one more time, and I'm going to stop it with commentary, right? But pay attention.
Did ancient armies really get elephants drunk before battle? Yup, it actually happened. In some cases, war elephants were fed wine or fermented fruits to make them more.
Because this is all a war, right? You wrestle not against flesh and blood, right? But it's still a war. And a lot of us have what? Been drunken with the wine of Babylon, right? again, that snare, that trap, that deception, right? We've been drunken with the wine of Babylon. And then when we're drunken with the wine of Babylon, as these powerful elephants are, we are now at their disposal for them to use us as they will, right? As they will. And just like the elephant, a lot of stuff that they give us is what they call today, what the young kids call rage baiting, right? So when you watch the media stuff to rage bait us, right? Because they said a drunken elephant is more enraged, more out of control. That's how they want you, black man, black woman. That's how they want you, right? So pay attention to that, and pay attention to the things that they use to turn us against each other, to crash out. That's another term we like to use nowadays, because it's all a part of their plan, right? One thing our captors are terrible at doing, man, is hiding their hand, right? They don't really have, a very strong poker face when it comes to their actions. The same way that they treat their animals, right? The animals that they don't care about, right? Is the same way they treat us. You see what I'm saying? Because they look at us as animals, and they're so stupid as human beings. They think they can do the same thing to us as they do to animals. You know, the crazy part is, it's been proven that they actually kind of did and succeeded. You know what I'm saying? That's the sad part, because Israel does not know. We don't even consider who we are, or what power that we have, right?
More aggressive and fearless during combat. A furious elephant charging through enemy lines was basically the tank of the ancient world. Strong, loud, terrifying.
Strong, loud, terrifying. What that sound like? That sound like the stigma they gave black men and women.
Oh,
strong, loud, and
I thought you were gonna say Eve.
And terrifying. No, black people in general, man. Right?
Play.
Black. That's the stigma that we have, and that's the reason that they tell themselves that it gives them the excuse to kill us, right? You know what I'm saying? But they've made us this way, and we've taken the bait so many times.
And now drunk. But here's the problem. Once they were out of control, there was no stopping them. Some trampled the enemy, and others turned around and crushed their own troops.
That's the thing, though. That's the thing. Once they get you with this wine of Babylon, right? Some of them, they did what they were supposed to do, right? What they was deceived to do, and then some of them, it backfired. The Israelites, right? As we teach this doctrine of truth, we're the ones that's backfiring on them, and we're trying to wake the rest of our nation up so we can turn around and stampede the ones that got us drunk, right? It's all about coming out of what? That drunkenness, coming out of her, my people, coming out of that spirit of slumber, coming out of that spirit of a strong delusion, right? And waking up. We, in 2019, 2020, people started saying this was a great awakening, right? What does that look like? That looks like, we didn't give these elephants enough wine. They sobering up. And that's what you got to do. You have to sober up, right? Let me share my screen. I got 3 precepts. Go ahead while I'm pulling this up.
Yeah, like basically what you said, man. A lot of these things, and that go back to Psalms 83, how they conspired against us, and they try to basically blot out the name of Israel. A lot of these things that was done, how this system was set up, it was to destroy us as a people, so we would never wake up and realize that we're the children of Israel. But now, we starting to wake up and realize that we the people, and it's making them go back to the drawing board, because it's like, how are they still waking up after we done told them they African American, we done told them they black, we created a school system that don't tell them their history prior to slavery. We put crack in the hoods to destroy them. We put a liquor store in every corner in their community so they can get drunk and destroy themselves and kill each other. But yet they still found a way, from all the things that we planned out behind the scenes, they still find a way to wake up. So it's like now that's causing them to go back to the drawing board to try to see what can we do now to rock them back to sleep. But you got the king.
Come on, man. You can share the screen. You can share that screen down there at the bottom for me. But that's a perfect explanation, man. And just like them elephants still didn't know the power that they had. And it's the same thing like us, man. We get stuck in this rat race after being domesticated, because that's all that happened. We talk about Jim Crow. We talking about the civil rights era. We talk about all of that. We talk about buck breaking and all of that. We've been domesticated. We've been broken, right? We are at their disposal and at their use. One thing about the Israelites, though, man, and we could tell that it's stirring the pot, just like an elephant that was enraged from the drunkenness of this captor. When he turns back around and starts going the wrong way, just like the fear that's on the captor's face and the heart when it drops, it says that, hey, man, this fierce animal is coming back. It's not going forward, right? Just like that. That's how we are in this truth, right? And they're afraid of that. You know what I'm saying? Because we are a weapon, just not theirs. Right. When you come out of domestication, when you understand that you're operating in what God intended you to operate in for, you're the elephant, right? You wasn't meant for somebody to feed you. You was meant to go provide for yourself. When you operate in that, right, you become the battle axe of the Lord. You don't become the battle axe of the enemy, right? Because what they want to do is domesticate us and use us against us, right? They want to use us against us. And that's just not the case once you're awakened and you know what you got to do. And that's why we've been called to do this, man, to go get the lost sheep, right? To go wake our brothers and sisters up out of slumber, to slip them some water, some more water so they can sober up. You go to somebody, he kind of dazed, you kind of slap him on the cheek. Hey, bro, wake up. That's what we're here for, right? This is Romans 11:8. Somebody can read this, don't matter who.
This is Romans 11:8, and it reads, according as it is written, God hath given them the spirit of slumber, eyes that they should not see, and ears that they should not hear until this day.
Right, man. And same thing with them elephants, man. After they got domesticated so much, you couldn't tell them that they was free. They got complications of letting wild animals go out to the wild after they've been domesticated for years, and they just kind of just standing there. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of looking. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't tell them they free. They still sleeping. Even when it's time to turn them loose, the captors still got them in a trance. You see what I'm saying? And that's a lot of our people. They have eyes that they shouldn't see. They have ears they shouldn't hear. If you ever had a conversation with our brothers and sisters in the world, it's amazing, man, how they just fall for the dupe every single time. They get duped every single time something comes out on the news or whatever. Right. And they get confounded. They don't know why, this is happening in the government and all this X, Y, and Z. And they can't understand what you're saying to them. Right. They can't understand what you're saying to them. Let's go to the book of 2 Thessalonians. The lesson going to be good when you're in the book of Thessalonians, 1st and 2nd. Don't nobody go to them. Right. No, I'm joking. But this is 2 Thessalonians 2 and verse number 11.
2 Thessalonians 2:11. And for this cause, God shall send them strong delusion that they shall believe a lie.
Man, God, that's the cold part. God sent these people, right? God sent these people to set snares and traps for us, right? To deceive us, right? That we might believe a lie, that we can be that enraged elephant, not only damaging others, but damaging ourselves the most, right? We taking that crack and selling it to our own people. That's that enraged elephant, right? That's that enraged elephant. You know what I'm saying? But it's time to wake up out of that. So what do you gain, man, when you come up out of the truth? I mean, when you come up out of the delusion and slumber, right? We're gonna read a little bit about that. This is the last passage I got, last precept I got. We're gonna go to the book of 1 Thessalonians, right? 5 and 2, the classic. This is what we got to do, because it's going to behoove us to do do so. 5:2, starting at 5:2.
1 Thessalonians chapter 5, starting at verse number 2. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night.
Right, man.
For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they
Right,
shall
man.
not escape.
As a thief in the night, man, catch you off guard. And we, people always go to this precept saying, hey, man, he's coming like a thief in the night when no man knoweth, man. He's going to catch you off guard. You know what I'm saying? Ready or not, here he come. What will you be doing when Jesus come? It's an old song, man. I don't know if y'all know about that one, right? Keep reading verse number 3.
Verse 3.
No, 4.
Verse 4. But ye, brethren, are not in darkness.
But you are not in darkness, man. These are for all the elephants out there that's sobering up, right? All the people in the truth that's not in the rat race no more. That's not in the snares and the traps anymore, right? Our captors thought they had domesticated us enough, but it wasn't enough, and we done came up out of that mindset, right? You ever seen them animals that was domesticated and they turn on their owners? That's us in this truth. That should be you in this truth. It says, but ye brethren are not in darkness. You're not in darkness no more. You're not in that spirit of slumber no more. You're not drunken with the wine of Babylon no more. And you're not under that strong delusion. What happens when you're not a part of that delusion, that darkness, that drunkenness, right? Keep reading.
That day should overtake you as a thief.
You're not gonna know what's gonna happen, but you're gonna be prepared. You know that day's coming, right? We constantly, you talk about doomsday preppers, right? You talk about gun guys, right? Guys that are into guns and all this stuff. They say there's a wise saying, man, I should have wrote it down. It says something like along, I'm paraphrasing, I'm gonna butcher it. It says something like those that love guns or gun guys, right? You live your life and 90% of your days, you know what I'm saying? You might not ever be faced with evil, but for when that one day come, you gonna be ready, right? And that's how we should be living our lives, man. You know what I'm saying? Not resting in the fact that 90% of our days we're gonna be good, but we don't know when that one day gonna come, and it's our chance to be ready. You see what I'm saying? Because if we're not in darkness, that day should not overcome us as a thief, right? You know what I'm saying? So so it's one thing when a thief comes through your house and you wasn't expecting it, caught off guard. You might even have a heart attack before he even do something to you, right? But when you're not in darkness, it looks like this. It looks like, you know what I'm saying, you expecting somebody to show up, you just don't know the day or time, and they finally knock on your door and you kind of get glad. You know what I'm saying? That's how it should be, because you ain't in darkness no more, man. You know what I'm saying? You already know what's going on. And unlike that domesticated elephant that doesn't know his own power, you do, right? So always keep that in mind, right? That's all I got, though, man. That's all I got. Anybody got anything else?
Man, you mentioned the elephant, but it said the ox knows the owner, the ass is master crib. You got to think about these animals too. If you ever been up on a bull, you ever been up on one of them cows, they're huge. And to know that you can herd them wherever you want to, put them on a trailer, drive them around, do what you need to do, and they might be a little stubborn, but they're gonna get on that trailer, right? They got the power to kill you, trample you. They're strong, nothing but muscle, right? Same thing with a horse. A horse, nothing but muscle.
Exactly.
But you put a bit in that horse mouth. But you put a bit in that horse mouth, and now all of a sudden something as small as a bit got that horse.
Bring that up. What precept is that?
I think it's in Proverbs.
Paraphrasing, man.
Or it might be in James.
I think it's
in James.
Let me see.
What y'all looking for?
I'm gonna pull it up real quick. It's a precept.
Because horses, man, they just it's James 3:3. But You know, horses are big animals, man. If you ain't been around a horse recently and you go and see a horse, man, you might be your heart might start fluttering. You might be, oh, snap. But just to understand that big beast knoweth its owner, right? That big beast knoweth its owner, man. And guess what? Our nation doesn't. Also, I wanted to say
James 3:3, it can't be.
Yeah, it's James 3 chapter 3, verse 12.
I don't know why
You said what up?
James chapter 3 and verse 3.
I think you said 3 verse 12.
James chapter 3, 3 through 12.
Shut on the screen, Obadiah. Come on, man. This is James 3:3. Behold, we put bits in the horse's mouth that they may obey, and we turn about their whole body. Right? Like the brother said, man. And that's how
that they may obey us, it said.
Right, man. And that's how the oppressor has gotten us, right? They put bits in our mouths. Whatever your vice is, they put it in your mouth and they can control us like it ain't nothing. Whatever they want to make the black man or black woman do as a whole, they can do, right? Without a shadow of a doubt. They can control us like a horse with the bit in his mouth, man. And the horse being as powerful as the horse is, right? Not knowing that the horse can, will really be at the horse's mercy if the horse really knew how much power he had.
Right. And that horse could throw you off, buck you off, trample you underfoot, run away. You can't catch that horse. Everybody know, man, if you don't put that rope on that horse, right? You don't put that halter on that horse and there's no fence, man, you know that if that horse wanted to take off, you ain't catching that horse. That horse don't know it though, because it's submitted to his master. And that's kind of how we are, man. We've submitted to our master. But the cold thing is it all goes back to Adam and Eve, because Adam and Eve bit the apple from the tree of what? The tree of what? Knowledge and
of good and evil.
Of good and evil. But there's still a little bit of good in there. So guess what happened, man? They bit the apple, and it tasted good. And then, they started learning stuff. And then guess what they also learned? They also learned they messed up. And so just like that, the world has given us enough to realize, oh, snap, we messed up. Oh, snap, we need a covering. Oh, snap, we're on God's bad side. So what does 1 Kings 8:47 say on down? We have to confess that we've done wickedly. We can't say God, we can't hide from God. We have to come to him humbly and say we've done wickedly. We've been perverse. Forgive us for eating that apple and getting all that knowledge. But guess what? It was the knowledge of the truth in there and there a little bit too. And guess what? Just like them elephants, we got drunk. And some of us turn back. And that's what repentance is. We got to turn back. But
man, disclaimer, man. The brother was just using the example. We know that the Genesis, may or may not have been talking about an apple. And you know what I'm saying? He was just using the example. But
man, hey. Fruit, pear, we don't, fruit, whatever.
Pear, man. He said pear. But look, hey, hey, anybody seen Planet of the Apes? It kind of reminds me.
That's your favorite movie.
Yeah, man. We supposed to be the apes in that movie. If people didn't know, we supposed to be the apes in that movie, Planet of the Apes. They weren't gonna come out and say it, but if you watch the movie, you can see it's talking about us. How especially when Caesar, they at first, Caesar was he was comfortable with being I think they had a collar around his neck, had a collar around the ape neck, treating him like a pet. But when he got sent where all the rest of the apes was, he seen how the rest of the apes was getting treated. He like, hold on, now this ain't right. We ain't supposed to be chained up like this. We ain't supposed to be in cages. And then that's when he started to wake up. And they broke out and they started defending themselves. And that goes back to us, man. We was once and kind of still is oppressed and chained up and things like that, until we starting to realize who we are, and we realize It ain't supposed to be like this. What we going through is not supposed to be like this. Something went on that they're not telling us about. So we starting to wake up, do our research, and realize what's going on, and read the Bible and realize who we are and the power that we have. And that's when we not taking no more lies that our oppressor giving us. They can't tell us that we black no more. They can't tell us that we African American. And they can't tell us that that our history started from slavery. They can't tell us that stuff no more because we woke up and we know who we are now, man. And we're gonna continue to wake up until the kingdom come, man. So that there's nothing they can really do about it. They can't stop this awakening because it's already prophesied that the children of Israel, that God's people is gonna wake up in these last days. So I mean, it's nothing they really can do about it, but sit here and watch their plans crumble. But that's what I had, man. I want to say that.
Come on, man. That's a fact, though. It's a fact. Come on, man. Well, if any brothers ain't got nothing else, man, right? I hope you guys were edified during that lesson. I hope it was an encouragement for you to snap out of it and work every day towards snapping out of it, man, and staying sober and not drunken with the wine of Babylon. And I know it gets hard because there's a lot of things out there that might trigger us, right? The way it's a paradigm out here to where they really controlling our little universes as so-called Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man, to the little things in our lives that trigger us, man. A lot of it is because of them, right? And how they have our lives set up, right? They really got us in a simulation, in a rat race. You know how they experiment on rats and whatnot? That's literally what we're doing. That's where the term projects came from. You know what I'm saying? Because they run projects on our people, on our cultures, right? And it's hard for us to break out of that. But it's our job to break out of that and to teach others how to break out of that as well. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say, man, that's a good point. And a lot of this trauma and the things that we went through our history, it been passed down, to us. A lot of trauma that our ancestors faced throughout slavery and segregation and the fear that they had, a lot of that stuff was passed down through, the seed line. A lot of us still carry those what's what I'm looking for? That trauma. A lot of us still carry that trauma even today, man. So it's like they did a number on us even through our ancestors. It still mess with us to this day.
And it manifests in projection of our insecurities. It manifests in the overcompensation of how we are as men and women. It manifests in the pride that we have, right? The lack thereof of being humble. It manifests in a lot of things, and we don't really recognize it because they did such a good job of deceiving us when they had the black shirts on and they was beating us with sticks, right? And then when they put them white clothes on and act like they had nothing to do with it, we often blame each other, right?
Yeah.
But that's why the Most High said to not hate your brother in your heart, right? Because a lot of the stuff that we go through isn't because of us, right? It's because of the simulation or the rat race they put us in against each other.
Yeah, even when you look into colorism, you still in today's time, dark skin versus light. I remember it was a big thing back in like 2016, 2017. People probably still do it. You had people, interviewers, YouTubers that want to vlog and stuff. They'll go to random people. Which one do you prefer, dark skins or light skins? And then it's just like they'll make it like a separation between dark skins and light skins. Or you may have people look at dark skins as a more aggressive and more meaner than light skins, because that goes back to slavery. That was forced into us. You had the dark skinned slaves. They was in the fields really, and they really wasn't getting the same treatment as the light skinned slaves. The light skinned slaves more likely was in the house, fixing the house up and making sure the house clean. You had the dark skinned slaves outside, so they seeing the light skinned slaves and the treatment they getting, and they getting jealous of the light skinned slaves. So that all just was passed on even to today when you have dark skin versus light skins, and
Man, it goes back to even the brown paper bag theory, man.
yeah,
Right? The brown paper bag method. You know what I'm saying? Where, back in the day, if you wasn't as light as a brown paper bag or lighter, you lost a lot of job opportunities. You lost a lot of opportunities to go to school and stuff like that. Opportunities to get into black bourgeoisie circles and stuff like that, and clubs and for fraternities and sororities and all this stuff. They put all this stuff in our communities to divide us, right? You don't ever see white people going back at each other. Oh, I'm tanner than so and so, so I'm better than so and so. Well, I'm more pastier than Sarah Beth, so I'm better than her. They don't do that. But when it comes to the shades of brown that we are, right, they use it against us, even though that we're all wonderfully and beautifully made as a speckled bird out here, right?
Right. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's real. I seen real quick. I know you finna end this lesson, man. But I just seen an interview of a dude. He was with, I think he was testing with these little kids. He was doing like a test with these little kids. I think he had a dark skinned dog, and a light dog or a white dog. He said, which one is the ugly dog? Most of the kids pointed at the dark skinned dog. And then why? He said, why? Because it's dark. And these are kids that's the same color as this dog. So if they feel this way about this dark skinned dog, about the dog being ugly because it's dark, how are they gonna feel about themselves? What made them even think? What made them even come to that at a young age? Them kids was like, I don't know how old they was. They was young though, but like they already got in their mind that dark is ugly, and lighter is pretty. So yeah, man, it's something that we got to just continue to work on as a people.
Come, man.
Break that mindset.
Come. Well, with that, man, we're gonna say shalom. We give all honor and glory to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And like Christ said, if you're not helping to gather, you're helping to scatter, man. Help gather your people, man, and get them out of their drunkenness, get them out of their slumber, get them out of that strong delusion, right? So we can be that elephant that turns back on his captors and tramples them, right? But with that being said, we say shalom.
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 Gathering is scattering.
He said, if you ain't gathering, you scattering. Shalom.